What's up, everybody? Coming at you from Star Trek Las Vegas. It's just the big Star Trek convention that they hold annually. About 25,000 people come every year. It's actually my first time out here as I'm checking things out this morning. But I flew in last night and watched the Strange New Worlds new episode, the 5th episode of the season. And I'm actually happy to report I'm going to do a positive video for once on this channel. Oh my gosh. This one actually felt like Star Trek. And so I was pretty happy by this. If you've watched the rest of the season, you kind of know there are some issues going on with Strange New Worlds in this season 3. And if you followed our channel, you know that as well. So let's get into this and talk about Through the Lens of Time, which came out last night. Please hit the like and subscribe button and join us here as we talk about all things science fiction and Star Trek. I am a science fiction writer myself. This is one of my books. It's called The Stars Entwined. And if you like Star Trek, especially like the Deep Space Nine or Babylon 5, I know that's not technically Star Trek, but it kind of is. You'll love this kind of thing. Right here. We have a beautiful trilogy that builds up. It's epic. It has great character depth. You're going to enjoy it. Check it out in the description below. Support our channel. Grab it on Kindle, print, or audiobook even, and I appreciate you for being here. And I'm actually working on a space exploration series. If you want to sign up for my newsletter so you don't miss that, I will be launching that pretty soon. Thanks for being here, guys. I'm working really hard on it. I'm doing a lot of editing, even while I'm at the convention here, which is a lot of fun so far. So, Strange New Worlds came out, and as I said earlier, like Strange New Worlds kind of has been plagued with not feeling like Star Trek this season. It's been pretty rough. The last episode with the holodeck was even like the shill media was like it was a controversial episode because of the fact that it really just made fun and took pot shots at Star Trek. It was like a parody of Star Trek. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you waste if you have 10 episodes for a season? Why would you waste one on that? And they brought it into like this holodeck episode. It was just a nightmare. And on top of it, it was boring. Like it was just one of those episodes that you could not get behind or even care about. But on top of like just doing a parody of Star Trek kind of thing that was not a real Star Trek episode, the episode before that was a zombie episode. Like, why would you do a zombie episode? And then the episode before that was like a comedy episode that like it referenced Trelane from the original series, but it's like, stop trying so hard to reference and tie everything in because it kind of makes the prequel suspend disbelief. And there was a video with William Shatner that came out that said, they're just getting the tone wrong. He was talking about Paul Wesley's performance, of course, mocking him, but at the same time, like, that's really the crux of Strange New Worlds. It's almost there. You could see the potential, but they're just getting the tone wrong. I was looking online. They're doing a sequel to The Office, and you look at the poster, and it like they're all done up, made up theater kids, and that's what it looks like, rather than like something that would be of The Office. And rather than looking like something that's like a Starfleet starship here, these kind of look like done-up theater kids in a Starfleet sort of thing. But it was a little better this episode. It started out a little soft, and they started with some relationship drama between Spock and Christine Chapel and, Noonien Singh, which is annoying that, that is in the... They should have named her anything else, to be honest. And they were setting the tone again for, like, some quirky sort of romance sort of episode, and it's like, oh, no, we're going to do this again? We're halfway through the season. Fortunately, they kind of just glossed over that real quick. I don't know why they opened the episode with that because it was very slow opening. But once they got into the crux of it, it was pretty interesting. Like a couple other episodes that they tend to do. This one, like they end up on a planet. They have to like figure out a puzzle, trying to get some alien artifact for some archaeological find that would help this alien species like uncover their history. Pretty neat stuff. Pretty vintage Star Trek plot right there, which is pretty great. And so I was pretty happy when that all came in. It escalated pretty quickly. As I was watching it with my wife, I was like, as they entered the alien chamber, I was like, the door's going to close behind them. The door's going to close behind them. And I kept waiting for that moment to happen. And it actually took a lot longer than I thought. But the door closed behind them and trapped them inside. And then they had to puzzle their way out. It kind of feels like a video game or a D&D adventure version of Star Trek, but it did have the themes of Star Trek. It did have some interesting science fiction concepts in it as it got into like quantum mechanics, and they got trapped in these like other realities that separated them and then also kind of brought them back together, but through different times that actually had different temporal causalities to things. And that was pretty neat science fiction. I was like, yay, applaud this. Now, the big crux of this situation is this ended up not being some sort of alien artifact place, but it ended up being like a prison for these like weird energy entities. And I'm actually just looking for some some pictures of this right here. But the energy entities got out. They actually ripped out this ensign's eyes, who they've been developing this season. I like this character quite a bit. And he then gets like inhabited by this like alien creature, causing massive problems for him. And so the B plot is he's back up on the Enterprise. He's loose. They're trying to rescue him and save him and the like. And then they're trapped and trying to get out of the situation over on the planet. And so it's pretty interesting right here. As both plots, it's a nice A and B plot that tie together very, very well, very structured, very, very well. Now, part of there are a couple of issues with this whole setup and scenario, and one is that it is a they had to act stupid to be in this, and this is a trope that you see in a lot of horror films and things like that. And I'm a writer, so I notice the tropes, but it's like the Scream movies where it's like, oh, I heard something, so I'm going to go outside and check on it, and it's like obviously the slasher's there, right? It's the same thing here. It's like when I was talking about like the door's going to shut behind them, it was pretty obvious, and like they didn't leave anybody outside to like check on them to make sure. And then of course, as soon as the door shuts behind them, there's no communicators and no transporters, so they're really, really trapped, right? And that was pretty obvious. It was pretty tropey, and again, it was the characters acting stupid and illogical because Spock's there, and that kind of is like an issue with like the setup to things. But there's been lamer setups in Star Trek for sure, and so I can forgive a little suspension of disbelief in that spot as it got through this. Now I loved the puzzling system. I loved the whole the concept of that alien prison and the way it all went. I thought there was a lot of tension as they were forced to stick together because Christine Chapel like had her DNA encoded into it. Like she was the only authorized entrant and exit. So if people were not going and leaving with her, they would get just nuked by these laser weapons, and that happened to like their guide, their alien guide here. Wow, it was pretty good. And then the tension really ramped up when they got on the ship. And so when it came to the ensign here, and then of course he like went off the rails and like with this like evil spirit inhabiting him, who's trying to take over the Enterprise. Again, vintage Star Trek. Goes to the engineering, demands he gets the command codes. It just felt like an original series episode, and I was like, yes, finally, they're doing Star Trek in Star Trek. This is all I ever wanted. Another weird, quirky part of this was Captain Pike's girlfriend here, who there's some setup to this where she's got Gorn DNA infused with her, and the Gorn DNA like recognized this spirit and like caused her to like kind of lizard out and fight him. And that was like, okay, it's a little much on this, and I get it. They wanted some action or whatnot, and having her be able to fight a man to a standstill when she's so tiny just didn't feel right. But I guess she's got Gorn DNA. I don't know. It just was a little bit of a problem there, but small problems. Like I said, this felt like Star Trek, and like that's what I want out of Star Trek. And so as much as I'm nitpicking a couple of spots here, I was very, very happy with this episode overall. I actually like the dynamic. I like Christine Chapel's boyfriend in this situation. He's a good actor doing some good things, and I like his character. Even though there are points where like he just kind of does some stupid things, and Christine Chapel has to go, no, you don't do that. It is interesting. And then at the end of it, they realize that like they've let this kind of thing out, and they have to be careful about this. Starfleet's going to send some troops to like make sure nobody ever accidentally opens this again. And it forebodes and is foreshadowing maybe something towards the end of the season where something really bad happens with these spirits that are out there. Now, the ensign dude got killed in the process. He got shot. And because he was inhabited by an evil spirit, and the engineering lady like just really had no qualms about it. Just like she's like, that wasn't him, that was somebody else. He's dead. Get over it, doctor. And that was like, wow, that's savage, which was pretty neat. I liked the savage moment in that. Now they ended up in a conference room talking about this afterwards, and this is my final nitpick with the thing. I have 3 nitpicks, and I will give a rating after this, which, as I said, there's a lot of positives out of this episode. My third nitpick was when they sat down talking about the situation. Captain Pike, somebody called them evil, and Captain Pike tried to lecture the crew saying evil and good are relative. And I'm like, what? One, that like Starfleet's all about doing good, and like I mean that's like a constant theme about things. Not sensical for a Starfleet captain to say. But on top of that, like that relativism doesn't make sense because he was established in the first 2 episodes as Catholic, and evil and good are not relative in Catholicism. So that was like, that was a writing error right there. And what that set up was the engineering lady giving this speech on evil, which did counterbalance it pretty nicely, because she was like, these are really malevolent beings and they're terrible. And it was like, it was gripping, and that is the foreshadowing of the episode to come, or whatever. I'm sure they're going to follow up with this. And that moment was really, really good, followed by a nice comedic moment as well. So while, yes, that line set things up and actually worked pretty well for the script, it didn't work for the Captain Pike character, is my nitpick on that level. So, hire me to edit, guys. That would help things. But yeah, this was pretty good. And if those 3 elements like were fixed out of this thing, so that there were a little bit of a couple of suspension of disbelief issues, and then the Captain Pike one line that kind of threw you out of the character, and then the beginning, which was a little slow, I really think this would have been almost the perfect episode of Strange New Worlds, but it just barely didn't get there. So I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. It was super enjoyable. Like I said, this felt like Star Trek, and I was happy with it, and I wish they'd be doing more of this. I know that they're already filming season 4. Maybe they already have filmed it, so it might be a little too late for them to change any directions, but this is what the fans want, guys. Do this. Don't do those stupid holodeck episodes. All right. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to sign up for my newsletter. Like I said, if you like my thoughts on writing, you're going to really love my space exploration series that's coming out, and that is in this universe. So the Arishan War is where it starts. You can grab this in the description below. Thanks for being here, guys. We'll be back soon.